Arizona Diamondbacks and the Philadelphia Phillies going at it, and they are in the top of the third, and the score is tied 0-0. Both teams fighting it out. This is going to be a great game, so let's just jump right into it right away. We do have the two teams playing here. So we have Arizona, we do have Philly, and right now Arizona is pitching to Philadelphia. So Zach Gallen has been doing very well recently, and if you look over right on my board, I am doing very well as well. So my current rank is first, go figure. But we know that can change very fast and in a hurry. I do have 13.25 points, and I do have one bingo count with the pitcher of Arizona, Zach Gallen, who's got 2 points for me already. So right now it's 3-2, no outs, and if he gets a strikeout here, that's going to give me a lot more points, and that's what I need. But let's check out other players and see what they're doing and kind of get a feel for what the rest of the field is. So let's go all the way to the bottom. Player number 23, Akatono. So we actually saw this player yesterday as well in the game we did yesterday. I don't even remember who it was now, but we saw them as well. And so you can see they have 3.5 points, but they're missing 2 players again. And this was the same issue we saw with a lot of people yesterday. Now they have 5.5 points because they went with Philadelphia's pitcher. But Bryce Harper did get a strikeout, and so did Nick Ahmed. So there you have -2 right there. So you're sitting at 3.5 points. So it's going to be a tough go for them because they're very limited on the bingos that they can get, and specifically they're limited on the bingos that they can get in the diagonals. So that's kind of the big issue right there. And it looks like Gallen walked him, so that's not going to be great for my score, and that's not going to be great for a lot of people's score. But now Philadelphia does have one runner on base, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But Adam Hasley is up, and Adam Hasley actually has been doing fairly well this year as well. I believe he is on my board, but Hasley has a 280 average, and I think that's why I put him on my board as well. So we'll just check out this first pitch. Inside, and they go for the steal, but the throw is not in time. All right, so we go back to this board. So again, it'll be interesting to see when you don't have the opportunity to get bingos from diagonals. That's going to really cost you in any game. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. But again, this game can change very fast, as you can see, because of that walk. That I'm already down a few points, quite a few points. And my rank has gone from first to second, so very quickly I've gone down. So we'll see who's first, but you'll see that they as well are missing 3 spots. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they go on based off of this, but based off of their board, because they are missing so many players. So that's going to be kind of the biggest issue that you're going to see a lot with people is, they make their board too early or breaking ball, strike one. They make the board too early, and what happens is you see that certain players will sit out, or they'll take a day off, or whatever it is, and then you're missing players on your board. So for me personally, I don't make my board until maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before a game, so I know who's going to be in the lineup. I know the batting averages. I know the averages against the opening pitchers. I know, or the starting pitchers. I know. A lot of those statistics, and those are really what I focus on when I'm thinking about who I want in my lineup, and that's contributed to a lot of the success that I've had in Ranking Ball. So we can go look at who's at number 10. Dana. We saw Dana yesterday as well. So if you look, they're only missing 1 player, Avila, but they have 9.25 points and 1 bingo though, and so the Arizona pitching has been fantastic so far from Zach Gallen. Ooh, off-speed pitch just outside. 2-2. So they have the opportunity for, at least the diagonal bingos, and those are worth the most. Those are worth 1.5 times. So that's where you really don't want to be missing players. And I've had players missing in those corners, and it is the worst feeling knowing that you could have had points scored. Had you been a little more aware of who is on and who is playing. So, again, because Hasley's up, this Dana isn't going to be affected that much. And myself as well, I mean, the pitching, yes, will be affected, but Hasley's not on my board, so who's at number 5? So they have Peralta, and pitching has 0 points for them, but they as well have 1 bingo. Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is a good choice that I did not make. Ooh, and there's a fouled out on an off-speed breaking ball. But Harper, phenomenal player, but when I was looking at his batting average at 249, compared to some of his other teammates who were well over 280, I couldn't justify it. Now I understand Harper could have a huge game at any point, but as of right now, with his -1 for a strikeout, I think I'm pretty happy with him not being on my board. So I will take that. But we will see who else we have. Let's see here. So let's go actually to number 20. Wow. Okay. Ooh. Strike 3 on a high fastball, and that is the second strikeout for Zach Gallen of the night. And he is bringing the heat. Now, we're only in the 3rd inning, but he's already at 40 pitches. Now, look at that. That is perfect placement of a high fastball. Now, as a batter, you see that fastball come in, and you think that they're throwing the curve and it's going to drop, but it just doesn't drop. So great pitching by Zach Gallen. Marte is actually on my board. He is in a very critical spot as well. In that bottom right-hand corner is really where you want to put the best player. I believe you want to put the best player in that bottom right position because of the horizontal and the vertical, and the diagonal positioning and scoring that you can get. Now, as you can see, we are again in the bottom of the 3rd, and my rank is now currently 3rd place. So we were in 1st for a while, and then we are slowly dropping, unfortunately. But we will see. Again, Marte needs to get a hit at least here. We need to do something offensively for the Diamondbacks for us to actually advance. Far outside curveball. All right, so let's take a look at Ranking Ball. So who is up? Zeno Sadie. Again, Zeno Sadie is up. Now, they do have 1 bingo, but that is the only bingo that they are able to get. As you can see, they are missing 5 players. And I am going to repeat that. They are missing 5 players, which is an absurd number to miss. So I promise you they will not finish in the top 10. You can hold me to that one. That's just completely ridiculous. But again, it's really based on pitching at this point. Ari Pepe is 2nd with 19.9 points. And again, missing 1 player, so they can still accumulate a lot of points here with what they bring. But it'll be interesting to see kind of, again, how that plays out, especially later in the game once we start scoring runs. But again, Marte can give me points, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for. And Dana doesn't have Marte on her board, so he's not really doing much for her right now. Yote Bob. Ooh, and they walk Marte. So that is a smart move right now. So Arizona does have men in scoring position on 1st and 2nd. And we have Peralta, David Peralta up. So this is his first plate appearance. They did walk him as well. Now he's got a season average of 284 with 10 home runs, 51 RBIs, and an 817 on-base percentage, which is what we need. And we need that because David Peralta is on, oh wait, that is not my board, but I believe he is on my board as well. So boom, and there's a hit right down to the shallow right field, right in the gap. And it looks like 1 run will score, and Arizona takes the lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Off a single by David Peralta, and that is going to change the board dramatically for a lot of us, including Yote Bob, who does have 1.5 points from Peralta earlier in the game for his walk. It'll be interesting to see how those points actually add up now, and if his rank jumps up from 5th place. All right, so boom, Peralta right there. So if you look at that right away, we actually missed it, but I did get a bingo. So that's my 2nd bingo of the night, and that was a beautiful play and a beautiful score by Kelly. But I did get the bingo with Peralta, the Arizona pitcher, and Marte, so that works out great to my advantage. Boom, and there's a deep pop-up into center field. And Adam Hasley is there, and the runner tags at third, and they go in for the score, and they are safe, and Arizona takes a 2-0 lead. And just like that, Arizona is up 2-0 in the bottom of the third with one runner on third with the sacrifice fly. Oh my goodness, this game can change in a hurry, and that is what happened. So there we go, right there. More points, but again, I was in first place for about one at bat. And then Marte scored. So I get another point for Marte. I believe that was Escobar. Yes, Eduardo Escobar. So I get the 1.5 points from Escobar for getting the RBI, even if it was a sacrifice fly. But awesome. So let's go back. So I do have 2 bingos. I do have, there's a lot going on, obviously. So let's just check all of this. Again, I am in second place now to J Style, but only by half a point. So we'll see kind of how that plays out later in the game. But we do have Walker up, who is 0 for 1. He grounded out in the first, but on the season he is 259 batting average, 20 home runs, 23 RBIs, and an 832 on base percentage. So Walker, I do not believe is on my board, nor is he. Oh, but Walker is on J Styles' board. So J Style, who is in first place, depending on what Walker does, can get him some points here. And you can see as soon as Arizona's pitching comes back, he would actually be eligible for a bingo if Walker gets on base at all or produces anything offensively, including a sacrifice RBI. Now again, Jason Vargas recently has been struggling with pitching controls, and as you can see, he continues to do that with one hit, with hitting one of the batters, but also a lot of his outside pitches are deep outside. So especially giving up 2 runs, it'll be interesting to see him and if he can recover from this and what he can do going forward, and kind of see what Philadelphia will do with their bullpen. But there's Zach Gallen again, who is having a great day so far, and hopefully he can keep that up for our sake and for the sake of other players like Jay Style. But again, we are waiting to see what happens here with Walker, and there's a foul ball. So now there's a 3-2 count, 2 outs, 1 on third, and it would be a shame for Arizona to leave that man on base in scoring position like that. But we've seen that plenty of times before, and at the end of the day, Arizona has now taken a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the third. But again, if Christian Walker gets on base, that would be huge for Jay Style. And there's a hit deep to center field. Hasley is there, and that is the easy out, and that ends the inning. So that is the end of the third inning. Boom. So when we return, we will see Zach Gallen come back and what he can do in the 4th inning for another inning. All right. So let's go back to the board and check out how that is playing out. And I am currently placed. I am currently still second. Again, nothing has changed. Because of the flyout, and we have Sanyu back in the game as well from yesterday, and you can see Harper is -1 for them, and they do have 1 bingo count with a score of 31. They are currently ranked 3rd. They do have Christian Walker on, but again, because he pop flied out, that doesn't, the score negates itself, so there's nothing really to worry about in that regard. They have 1 minus from Nick Ahmed, and again, Bryce Harper. But they have points from Marte, but they can't get the bingo horizontally because Avila is not in the game. So again, interesting choice, and missing players is going to have an effect on you later in the game. As you can see, Zeno Cassidy, who was first, has dropped now to 5th with 22 points because they are very limited on the points that they can accrue. Because they are very much only eligible for that 1 bingo. So if Segura has more hits, then obviously they will do very well. But again, I don't see that being a very long-term solution to Ranking Ball for sure. We can see who else. Like, let's actually go back down to the bottom and kind of see. So there we go. Ekatono again is in. So they have chosen Philadelphia as their pitcher. But Philadelphia, unfortunately, has not had the greatest pitching so far this game with Jason Vargas. Jason Vargas has struggled, and it has been very clear, obviously. He's given up 2 runs. But Ekatono does not have the ability to get a diagonal bingo as well. So without the bingo, it's going to be hard to score points. And you can see they have 3 points on the board right now with Christian Kelly and the Philadelphia pitcher. But they also have -3 points with Dickerson, Ahmed, and Harper. So they're looking at a score of 0. And so they are currently ranked 30th right now. So Rhys Hoskins is up. He's ground out in the first. And he is currently sitting at 0-1 right now. And Gallen comes out for the pitch. High fastball. 91 miles an hour, but too high, so that's going to be a ball. And so we do have Arizona's pitching. So we need Arizona's... If Arizona's pitching, if Zach Gallen can throw together some good pitches this inning, and again, get out of the inning clean, we will be eligible for 3 separate bingos in this next inning when, well, at least if Dickerson comes back around, but I believe we're on Hoskins right now. So we won't actually see Dickerson, who is in my top right corner. We won't see him again until they go all the way through the lineup. So maybe Hernandez, actually. Even Hernandez. If we get out of the inning clean, we won't see Hernandez either. But as long as Gallen starts pitching well, we will continue to do well. But let's check out number 6. So number 6 has 22.5 points. They have a full board, which is awesome to see. They are actually eligible for a bingo if they get Nick Ahmed. Ooh, that's unfortunate. And Gallen walks him. So Philadelphia does have 1 runner on first at this point. But if you see Inote 0126, they are actually eligible for 2 bingos in 2 separate places. So they can either have Nick Ahmed score anything, one base run, anything to get them into positive points. And they'll have a serious bingo from Nick Ahmed to the Arizona pitcher to Segura. And then they'll also have the horizontal with Peralta and Escobar. Or if they get Real Muto, who is up right now, if Real Muto scores anything or gets on base, then this game will turn around very, very quickly. And I think we might see Inotel 0126 in the lead because they'll be eligible for 2 bingos back to back because they will get the horizontal with Marte, the pitching, Real Muto, and then obviously the vertical with Segura and Escobar. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So this is the one that I actually really want to see with Harper and... Oh wait, are we at Harper? Oh, we are behind. Okay, I see what happened. So once we get through Harper, then we will get to Real Muto. So once Harper goes through, this board will be the board that we really want to see what happens because they can cause a lot of disturbances for us as well because I as well don't have Harper or Real Muto, so I won't be able to score anything until then. So we'll see how Zach Gallen is able to respond to this and what kind of impact he'll be able to make right here. With a 1-1 pitch, no away, 1 on base. Fastball, outside, ball 2. But again, currently, Inotel 0216 has 22.5 points because they have a lot of points on the board, but they have 0 bingos. So, depending on what Harper does and what... Ooh, and there is a off-speed breaking ball, 83 miles an hour. Great pitch, strike 2. So Zach Gallen, what we need from Zach Gallen right now is a huge strikeout because that would help us, but unfortunately that would help Inotel as well. And if Inotel gets any more points on Zach Gallen, that'll be huge for them. So even if Real Muto doesn't score though, we do have Hernandez coming up after him, and Hernandez can as well give. And there's a easy grounder, and there goes the 1 out, 2 out. That is a great double play. And Arizona's defense bails out Zach Gallen on that one with a great double play. Boom. So, now we have Real Moto up, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. Because like I said, he is not on my board, as you can see. And I actually have negative points, unfortunately, but we'll see. J Style is still in first, but I have 31.5 points, but I have negative points on my pitching, and I think because of because of the walk, and then obviously the bingo. So we're going to need Gallen to do a little more for us in this place, and that pitch is not what we need. But if we go find, there you go. Oh, Inotel actually dropped to third. Oh, and that's obviously because of the walk. But like I said, with Real Muto on base right now and in the position for Inotel. Ooh, and there is an ugly strike one. It'll be interesting because, right, like I said, they are eligible for 2 bingos off the bat. No pun intended. Actually, you know what? Pun intended. If they get on base. The 1-1 pitch. Ooh, fastball. Strike 2. And that's what I want. At this point, I need Gallen to get points for my own board personally. But obviously for Inotel, Inote. I keep saying Inotel, but Inote, they need Real Moto to get points, and they will have a huge bingo. And there's fouled away. Still strike 2. This is really, really exciting, let me tell you, because you obviously want people to do very well in Ranking Ball, and you can do very well in Ranking Ball, but when you are playing against them, it can be very nerve-wracking. Ooh, tight. Inside curveball, 2-2. But this, like I said, they are currently, Inote has a score of 21, and is ranked 9th. But it will be very interesting to see what happens after this 2-2 pitch. Foul away. This is making me nervous, very nervous. So if Zach Gallen can hear me, if you can just strike out Real Mote, that would be phenomenal for me. Real Muto, I could really use that, especially with 2 away, 2-2, no one on base. This could end the top of the 4th. Now, he's gone all over the board in terms of pitching, so I'm thinking low and away or that high fastball would be great right now. There's low and away, and that is a drive down to Escobar at third, and he gets the out at first just in time, and that ends the 3rd inning, and Zach Gallen gets out clean again, which is what we needed, and I will take that. So let's go over to the board and see how that inning ended up. Boom. So 1.5 points. So I am back up to second still with 34.5 points. J Style is still sitting up there with 36.5. And Real Moto, or Inote, as we mentioned before, is still sitting in 9th place because Real Moto did not score for them. So that is a very, very good play. All right. So let's see who else we have coming up. Burdai. Okay, so again, like you can't have, like you're missing 3 players, but you're missing them all in one row. Like you eliminate one complete bingo yourself, but then you also get rid of the diagonals. And I always stress the diagonals. The diagonals is where you're going to make your money, and you have to have players there. It's one thing if you leave like a middle piece, like where Hoskins, Peralta, Segura, or Lo Castro is. If you leave those ones open, you can get by. You could still do well. But if you are missing players in the diagonal, that's when problems are going to happen, because you can't get bingos necessarily, but you can't get the big bingos, and the big ones are the diagonal ones. So I'm stressing that to you right now. When you want to do well in this game, you have to be very aware of who's actually in the game. You can't just pick players that you like. You know, you have to be aware of who's actually out there. So, let's get back to the game. Boom, boom. There we go. All right. Cute fans. It's always good. Like it's always good. Like I have very fond memories myself of going to baseball games with my dad, and you know, that's how you build lifelong fans. You know, you got to get them to have these experiences, and you know, baseball is completely different when you watch it live and at the stadium, and the environment, it's phenomenal, and you can't beat that. Well, I guess you can beat that because you could be at the stadium, but you could also be at the stadium while playing ranking ball, and you would have a lot more immersion into the game. So that's something that I would highly recommend to you, is downloading ranking ball on your mobile applications or on your mobile devices, and then play them while you're actually at some of these ballparks. And Vargas is still in the game, obviously. His pitch count is not very high, so still 51 pitches in, so he's got a lot of time left still. I think we'll see him for probably, we're in the 4th right now, we'll probably see him until the 6th, I would imagine. And there's a one hopper all the way to 3rd, and that's an easy one away. All right. So, bop-a-da-bop, bop-a-da-bop. I am currently still 2nd place. Still 2nd place. Wilmer Flores had a fly-out in the 2nd, but he is 0 for 1, 274 in the year, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 706 on base percentage. And Flores is on my board, so I can get a bingo right here, right now, if Flores does something great. And it would be awesome if he could just hit a home run, and I can get a few more points right there. And they are going to pitch away from him because they know if he gets that homer, it's because of me and because he knows that I need it. So that's going to be huge for me, at least, to get this home run. So let's wait and see if Flores can get on base. Curveball, 82 miles an hour. 1-1. It's okay, Flores. Just stick with it. Stick with it. I believe in you. Diamondbacks believe in you. Ooh. Oh, they are going to call that a strike. That was a dirty curveball. Tight inside, but they are calling that strike too, and Flores doesn't agree with that either. So Flores, as long as you don't strike out here, I am good, because if you strike out here, that's going to make things a lot more difficult for everybody, myself included. The 1-2 pitch, and that is in the dirt, breaking ball. And again, Vargas has hard time controlling his pitches. So Flores, where is he? Wilmer Flores, a second baseman, needing to come through in the clutch here. The 2-2 pitch, and he gets a piece of it, and that is a short hopper all the way to 3rd base. And they do not get it. That is an ARI. Drops the throw, and Wilmer Flores gets on base. And if we watch my bingo board right here, is it updates, give it a second, wait for it, waiting for it. One more, just give it a second. It's going to update, I promise you. I think I just put it a little too late. But Wilmer Flores gets on base, and that is huge for us. That will give us a bingo. As you can see, wait for it. It's coming, I promise. Just watch the graphic. And it's not, is it not? It's not going to update it? It should update it. It didn't update it. Okay, so we will have to check that back. Let's see. And it still did not update. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to look into, because it should have done something at this point, because Flores did get on base. So that would be interesting. So Nick Ahmed had a strikeout in the 2nd, has a 265 average, 11 home runs, 55 RBIs, and a 755 on base percentage. And again, he does have -1 on my board. So again, if he can just get on base, that is all I need. But he is currently 0-1. And I will need to see what is happening with that Wilmer Flores on my board, because he got on base, and I should have something to show for that. And he digs it out, but that is a deep shot to center field, and it drops in the gap, and the runners advance. And so now Nick Ahmed gets on base with a single. And again, Arizona has runners in scoring position. And that is huge. That was a low outside breaking ball, but Nick Ahmed went for it, pops it up deep, but in shallow center field. And Housley does not have the speed to get there. So that should actually give me 2 bingos. But I think the game is going to reload at the end of the inning. Well, Ahmed definitely got me the hit. So I need Flores to actually score. So that's what I'm going to need. So Flores was at -1. He is now at 0. Or, I mean, Nick Ahmed was at -1. He's at 0. I don't remember Flores being at -1. So that might be the case. Why he's now at 0 and not actually scored. But if we can actually get Kelly to bring Flores home, that will be good enough for a bingo, because Flores will then have 1 point for an RBI. And so that would be something that we could really use right now. And again, gives us another bingo. But it definitely, I mean, and also, I mean, if Kelly goes deep here, hits a home run, brings home Ahmed and Flores, that'll give me 2 bingos, because they both will get the RBI as well. Ooh, and there is a breaking ball, off-speed pitch, but high. 2-1. So if we go back to the board and see who else is out there and what they're doing, and if we can find somebody with Kelly on their board, that would be great. J-Style does not have Kelly. San Yu, do they have Kelly? Ooh, no. No, they do not. Let's see, so we're just going to go through until we find somebody with Kelly, and we can kind of follow along and see what kind of difference that is going to make for them. Nope. You see a lot of people missing players. Missing players. Kelly. Nobody wants to pick Kelly. Wonder why that is. Ooh, and there's a hit into left center field, and it looks like they're going to make the charge for home. And the runners advance, and Arizona scores again. So off a Kelly single, runners advance to third, and Arizona scores 1 more, and Housley... Oh, wait, that's not my board. So Flores does get home, which should give me the bingo because he gets home. And you can see that is just a perfect shot right in the gap of shallow center right field. And Ahmed gets the third. So we have runners on first and third. Kelly's on first. Ahmed is on third. Again, Arizona has runners in scoring position. But Zach Gallen is up, and he had a sacrifice bunt in the first, so we will see if that happens again. It looks like he will sacrifice bunt again. He's showing bunt, and there's the bunt right there. Easy to third, and they do not get him in time. And Ahmed scores as well, and Arizona goes up 4-0 off the sacrifice bunt of Zach Gallen. So Zach Gallen getting it done on offense and defense for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wow, what a turn of events. And we missed it, but on my board, there was a bingo, as I mentioned before, because of Flores. So that is Escobar, Flores, and Marte. And I am now in first place with 37.2 points and 3 bingos. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. And Nick Ahmed has 1 point, so I need Flores to come back through the lineup so I can get that bingo one more time. And that's what you really want to collect when you're playing ranking balls. You need the bingos to give you those point advantages, those multipliers that are really going to shoot you up the board. So fairly happy with this. Fairly happy. I think I'm okay. But Arizona is doing phenomenal right now. This is what we needed in Ranking Ball, and I guarantee this is what Arizona wants, because they, like I said, they are in a dogfight right now. 2.5 games back of the wild card. They need these wins. Ooh! Wow. And Marte drills it right back at Vargas, and Vargas can't get a handle of it, but does pick it up, makes the toss to first to Hoskins, and that ends the inning. Wow. So Arizona has been on fire and unstoppable. But let's check the boards and see kind of how everybody else is playing out. So I am now in first by a fairly comfortable 4 points. But as I mentioned before, Enotel is somebody that we had to watch out for, and it looks like they got a couple of those bingos. They definitely got 2 right there, so I'm not sure which ones they got. I guess they would have had a Med, Segura, and the pitching, and then that would have also given them Peralta and Escobar. So they're the 2 bingos that I had mentioned before that they had to get, and it looks like they got it. And what did I tell you? It would skyrocket them up. Luckily for us, though, luckily for myself, it didn't skyrocket them too far up. So I am good with that because they can stay in second place. I don't need them to go any higher. So that would be great. But let's take a look at, again, where everybody else is. So let's look at number 29 overall, who has a score of -1. Now, look at, you can obviously see they're missing too many players. And there's a reason, like if you're going to get -1, it's because you're not paying attention to who is actually in the game and you're missing players. They are missing 5 players, which is, I mean, that's 60% of the board you're missing. I mean, you can check my math. I think 5 out of 9 is 60%. It's like 57%, something like that. So very clearly have a score of -1. So that's pretty obvious why they're doing the way they're doing. But if we look at some of the other people, so -0.5 a point, same thing, missing players. And then obviously picking the Philadelphia pitcher was the wrong decision today, clearly. But I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him, you know. There we go. Okay, no, that's not what I needed. No. There we go. All right. Okay. So if we go back to here and look at who else we have here, let's look at who is number 10. So our Ari Pepe, pardon me, Zach Gallen, the beast, is back. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts on the night. So let's see if he can get a few more strikeouts. Ari Pepe has 10.5 points with the Arizona pitcher, but they can't get the diagonal bingo with Flores, and that's because obviously they do have that what's it called? They're missing a player again. I believe they have Jason Lamb there, but they can get the bingo with Peralta, the pitching, and Bryce Harper when Bryce Harper comes back through the lineup. So that'll be something interesting to watch because. But I think we're going to have to wait for that one because Harper is not going to be, we're going to have to go through the lineup before we see Harper again. But Segura is up right now, I believe. And Segura hitting 289 on the year. But Gallen is at 64 pitches, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, how many pitches they keep him in there for. I'm aiming, off-speed breaking ball. Ball 1. And Segura is not going to fall for that one. Jean Segura had a single in the second, so that's where he got us the 1 point right there. Boom! 87-mile-an-hour curveball. So let's see who else has Segura and kind of how that's going to affect. Does Enotel? Enotel does have Segura, so they will get 1 point here in the bottom right-hand corner. Ooh, and so Gallen looks like he's throwing a lot of these breaking balls, a lot of these curveballs, trying to pitch away from Segura because I think he knows the danger of what's going to happen if that's the case. Now, again, San Yu has the Arizona pitcher, but Segura, they do have them in the bottom right-hand place as well. Ooh, they're right there. Right there, beautiful pitch. Another curveball, high, but in the strike zone, 2-2. So this will be an interesting position for a lot of people, clearly, because a lot of people do have Segura on their board. Yeah, another 1 point. Oh, and tries to dig it out of the dirt on another breaking ball, and it fouls away. So it looks like Segura is getting a little jumpy in the box. Looks like he kind of knows what's at stake. Now, obviously, Philadelphia is down 4-0 right now, so they know that they have to start scoring games right now. Now, if we look at TG Kim 12, Segura can get them the bingo, but I don't know if they want that one because they have the Philadelphia pitcher right there with a -5.5. So, but they would be eligible for the bingo with Escobar, Harper, and actually, if they get Segura and then Harper can come in and do something, they would have a double bingo and then potentially a triple even if the Philadelphia pitcher comes back and does something special. Segura goes again to dig it out, but fouled away. Looks like a proud father with his with his daughter. Got the ball. He's going to give it to his daughter. No, it doesn't look like he's going to give it to his daughter. His daughter is sitting right beside him, and you got to give her the ball, man. Come on. What are you doing? You're on national TV. Gosh. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so Segura gets on base, unfortunately, but by a walk. So, TG Kim, if you are watching this, right now Segura has the potential, if Philadelphia can get a little bit of pitching going on, maybe one strikeout, you would get 1, 2, and Harper, obviously. Like, if you can get Harper and the pitching, you would have so many bingos, like so many bingos. And you are currently 15th place with 1 bingo, so that would be huge for them. Now, obviously, Segura does have 2.5 points on me now, but that brings my pitching down to minus 1.5 points because of the last inning as well. So what I really need is Zach Gallen to start picking it up again. This would be a terrible point to start giving up runs. Pardon me. But we do have Cesar Hernandez up at bat. Hernandez has a 282 batting average, and there is a perfect curveball right down the middle, strike 1. And you can see Gallen drop down on the mound right there. So he was expecting Carson Kelly to actually stand up and just gun the ball to second for to protect from the steal. There's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball outside, 1-1. So right now they're actually expecting a stolen base right now from the runner at first from Segura. And you can see the catcher stance. He's ready to throw. And there is a great curveball. Strike 2 against Hernandez. So I am in a position right now with Hernandez where I need the strikeout for the pitching, but I don't need the -1 points from Hernandez. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how we balance that out for myself at least. But we can look and see who else has it. So Inotel does not. Oh, does as well have Hernandez. So they look like they are setting up another bingo. Again, they're going to need something out of Harper though, because he has -1 point for them. But they will at least have 2 in a row, and then they can again try to set it up with Peralta, Arizona's pitchers. But again, Gallen needs to do something here. Again, breaking ball low and outside. 2-2. 1 runner on base. Arizona is up 4-0. And we are having a great game right now. Again, another breaking ball. Count is full, 3-2. And as you can see, I have currently dropped down to second right now, based off of the pitching. But we will have to. Oh, sorry, that's not me at all. That was oh, and there is a drive. Fouled down the first baseline, and the ball girl looks like she's having trouble getting a handle of that one. But I am currently in first place right now, 40.25 points. Inote is 36.65 points, so they are all in the hunt. And but I'm feeling very comfortable right now. But again, we have seen the score completely shift the other way. But we can see who else has Hernandez, and Hernandez strikes out with a breaking ball low and outside. That is the 5th strikeout now for Zach Gallen, and Gallen is starting to come back. So that brings my pitching up just a little bit. I am still at half a point though. And Christian Hernandez, or Cesar Hernandez, takes a swing at it but misses and goes down to -1. So that horizontal bingo for myself is going to have to wait. But we do have Scott Kingery up next. Kingery is not on my board, but we will find somebody who does have Kingery. And they check the runner at first. Kingery is not at second. Let's try. Oh, Inotel dropped significantly on that one. Sanyu does not have Umogani. No, Kingery upside. Kingery did have a walk earlier in the inning. The count is currently 0-1, but we'll go down a little bit further, see some people that maybe we haven't seen before. And there we go. We have somebody who does have Kingery. It'll be interesting to see if they are able to get a bingo. Right now they do have 2 bingos, but they are ranked second. Siwuga. So Gallon has completely gone with breaking balls, curveballs in this inning, and I believe has only thrown 1 fastball so far. And you can see Arizona's dugout, their bullpen is on the phone right now. So it looks like they might be looking to pull Gallon. Obviously, he is at 81 pitches, so you're getting to a point where you need to seriously consider getting him out of the game, even though it is still early, only in the 5th inning. But let's see, Siwuga, it'll be tough for them to come back because they obviously do have Philadelphia as a... Ooh, there's a great curveball high, but just inside the strike zone. So 1-2. I expect the same placement of the next pitch, but it would be good to see Gallon get a fastball in there. Just get another out. Shaking off the call, shaking off the call. Shaking off the call again. There we go. He agrees to the pitch. The 1-2 pitch. Low and outside. Fastball. Ball 2. But Siwuga will have a tough time coming back because, as you can see, the Philadelphia pitching is destroying them with minus 8.5 points. So he would have to rely on Cesar Hernandez and Bryce Harper to get the bingo across the horizontal top line. Ooh, and there it goes. Kingery swings and misses on that low outside breaking ball, and that's Gallon's 6th strikeout of the night. And he is starting to find his groove late in the 5th inning. So, again, if we look and see how, because that's going to give Siwuga another minus point. And you can see if we can find, where were they? They looks like they dropped significantly. Where are they? Oh, they're 15. So they did drop 1 place. Again, they had 11.5 points, but you can see that top line now is not going to be, it's going to take a while for that top line to actually come back and get them any sort of points in ranking ball. As their top horizontal line all has -1, and their pitching is minus 8.5. So the reality is it doesn't look like they're going to get many more bingos this game, especially in the diagonal. But I am currently still in first place with 46.25 points. My pitching now is at 5.5 in the positive, so that is phenomenal. That is exactly what we want. But again, we will look at other boards and kind of get a feel for what everybody else has. So Jay Styles is in second with 43.5 points. Christian Walker would be huge for them, obviously, because that would give them the Marte Arizona pitching and a diagonal bingo. But that won't really set them up for anything else unless Peralta and Escobar are able to do something else offensively as well. But you can see they do have a lot of, like, Realmoto, Dickerson, they have bingos available to them, but they're just waiting on offensive production now. So that makes me a little nervous because the only offensive production that I am waiting on right now is Hernandez, which can't score points, but I'm going to have to wait to see who else can start scoring points, and we're going to have to go through the lineup again. So it'll be a while. So I see myself dropping, maybe not too far, but definitely down to like top 5 or even top 10, and coming back once some of these players start going through again, and I can start building bingos throughout the game. So that's something to just expect and just to be aware of once you kind of get a feel for the game and how Ranking Ball kind of works. But let's take a look at who is in their top 10 position. And we have Dana in the top 10 position. And again, Dana is eligible for a bingo right now with 32.75 points. They have 2 bingos, but I don't want to assume gender here. They are available, or they have the opportunity right now to get a bingo with Peralta. Where are we here? David Peralta, who is up, I believe, or will be up. What is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? Where is he going? I don't know why the camera was following that guy. And I just realized that Dana has 32.75 points, currently ranked 10th. If Peralta gets her any sort of points, that will skyrocket her up the charts, because that's going to be worth 1.5. And as you can see, her pitching score right now is 17.5. And David Peralta is up. He has a walk, a single, and an RBI. He is hitting 287 on the year, 10 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 820 on base percentage. I do as well have Peralta. And Vargas is still in the game. 76 mile an hour breaking ball. Off-speed pitch. And now we have to wait to see how Dana plays this out, because obviously Dana, inside curveball. 1-1. Because Peralta would be good on my board, but obviously if Dana gets him, that is going to skyrocket Dana up the charts. So, but I as well have him in a diagonal position, and I think at this point we need to consider just point accumulation. So while Dana may get some points, it doesn't look like she has a lot of anything else going on in the board. So it's best just to clear it now and get her that bingo, and obviously build points for myself as well. So let's just hope Peralta gets on base, because, you know, even though she's scoring points, I'm going to score points as well. And at this point, it's going to be about point accumulation. And on top of that, you have to, and there's a low off-speed pitch. Again, 3-2, full count. Peralta is 1 for 1 on the night. And Vargas has a tough decision to make on which pitch to throw. And there's the call for the pitch. The 3-2 pitch, and Peralta gets a piece of it, but that is fouled away. Very slow off-speed pitch, 70 miles an hour. You can hear the tension right now for Dana and her ranking ball board. The 3-2 pitch. I guess that was tipped. It looks like that should be a walk. That was ball 4. And the umpire's discussing it with Peralta, and it looks like they forgot what was happening. And Peralta should take his base. There's some sort of confusion, and Peralta didn't realize the count and takes his base. And so that will give Peralta 1.5 points, and it looks like Dana will get her bingo. So we will see her jump the boards and see how far she goes off one bingo. So this will be a good indicator of how far you can go off one, even off a walk. And Eduardo Escobar is now up. Off-speed pitch. 0-1. So let's just update this and just see what happens. So I have 1.5 points for Peralta. That means Dana got 1.5 points for Peralta. I currently have 47.75 points total. And Dana, where did Dana go? Oh, there we go, right there. As I mentioned before, Dana got her bingo. So now she has gone up from 10th place all the way to 4th as Eduardo flies out to the shortstop, Jason Segura, and that's 1 away. So congratulations to Dana. You have gone from 10th to 4th off 1 bingo with a score of 44.5. So you can see how fast, how quickly you can jump the board and be able to get points as soon as you connect bingos. So it works out great for me because obviously Dana is not really a threat. I mean, she is now if she was to get a bingo. But I am still got a commanding lead, and that gives me the potential now for 2 separate bingos, whether I want to go vertical with Segura, Peralta, and Escobar. Escobar, who did just foul out, so we're going to have to, or fly out, so we're going to have to wait for him to go through the lineup again. But I am still eligible with Marte as soon as Marte comes up. But I believe Escobar, Walter, we're going to have to wait to the beginning of the lineup because we do have Christian Walker up right now. Ooh, and he swung. That is strike 2. He is down in the count right now, 0-2. But we will see because I don't have Walker on my board, but let's see who does. Bob is now surprisingly back up in second, and he does have Christian Walker. And so Christian Walker is in a horizontal or vertical diagonal position for him. So it'll be interesting to see how Christian Walker does here. Now, Christian Walker is 0-2 for the day, so let's keep that in mind. But if he does, then Yoke Bob, who is in second place with 46.15 points, is eligible potentially for a vertical bingo with Hoskins and Ahmed. And there's a deep drive to left field. And Corey Dickerson is there, and that is 2 away. So Christian Walker flies out, and so Yoke Bob is not a threat today, at least for that moment. But we do have Jones is up. Adam Jones, the right fielder. So Adam Jones is up, and Adam Jones is not on my board, so I will not be getting or receiving any points from this, but we will see who does have Adam Jones, and we can talk about their board and kind of get a feel for what Adam Jones might bring to them. Let's check out Dana's board. Dana's in 4th now. Does not have Adam Jones. They check the runner at first. Let's check Burial. Nope. This might be one of those other situations where people just don't have Adam Jones. Nope, does not have Adam Jones. Adam Jones, nobody. I want nobody but you. Jones again is 0 for 2. Does have a count of 1-0. There is 1 runner on base, but 2 away. Okay, so Adam Jones is very difficult to find. It does not look like a lot of people have chosen Adam Jones to be on their board. Ooh, and there's a strike on a breaking ball. 1-1. Adam Jones. Does not look like anybody wanted Adam Jones, unfortunately. So there's not a lot to discuss if we can't find somebody with him on their board. But again, I am very surprised. So many people are missing players. Let's see if King Kong has them. King Kong does not have Jones, but ooh, that's going to be tough to come back for. And Adam Jones gets a piece of it to deep left field. But Corey Dickerson is there. That is an easy out. So that ends the 5th inning. So we go into the 6th inning with the Phillies down 4-0. And their pitching is at -10 right now. So that is going to be an interesting to see kind of how they respond to that. But I'm excited to see Zach Gallen back on the mound. So hopefully they're going to be doing something else. But we'll see, because again, his pitch count was getting pretty high. And as you can see, Yoke Bob is catching me, getting way too close for my comfort. Now with only 2 bingos, but again, that pitching score must have been extremely high for them to get those 2 bingos. And they might have got them at the same time, so that's how they got up there. And again, they're waiting on their 3rd bingo with Marte at the bottom. But again, we as well are waiting on a bingo with Marte. So it'll be interesting to see kind of once they go through the lineup again. Once Arizona goes through the lineup again, how they do. But I believe we have, I don't actually know who we have up, but we will see very soon. And myself, again, I'm going to wait for Marte to come through the lineup and get me that that diagonal bingo, which will be huge. But unfortunately, I did go with a more balanced board today with Dickerson, Hernandez, and Segura from not Arizona, but from Philadelphia. And Dickerson and Hernandez both have not performed up to my expectations. And that's leaving a bingo on the board right now, unfortunately. So I do need Hernandez to do something offensively. But I don't think we'll actually see him this inning. I think we might have to wait another inning before he comes through the lineup. The same for Dickerson. But Segura, I believe, might come back through. No, Segura we won't see, but I think we might see Dickerson. So it'll be interesting to see. And again, we have to wait for Eduardo Escobar. Escobar would be great as well if we could get him to do something. That would give me the vertical bingo with Peralta, Segura, and Escobar. But I think the big one that I'm waiting for personally is Marte to come through the lineup and hopefully do something big, getting us that horizontal bingo. So that's going to be the bigger point, I think. All right. Bop it bop, bop it bop. All right, so let's just check who's in 10th place right now. Birdie is in 10th place, and again, cannot get diagonal bingos. and they are waiting for Hoskins to get any sort of points. Now, if they get some points, that is going to be significant because obviously they do only have one bingo, but that is going to be very different from what they're used to. And it looks like Arizona has made a pitching change with TJ McFarland. McFarland has a 5.05 ERA this year, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how he'll change. Now, Gallen had a great outing. So this is where Ranking Ball gets interesting because now we're talking about different pitchers. So depending on how they do, that can determine the game. So obviously Arizona's pitching is doing fantastic right now, whereas the Philadelphia pitching has gone so far negative, but that can easily flip and switch because of the new pitcher. So that's something to keep an eye on and something to be aware of when you are choosing pitchers. You want to make sure that your relievers and the relievers for the team that you are choosing has very capable pitching like depth in terms of their bullpen. Otherwise, you could, like for example myself, you could be up in first place even, and you could lose the game based off of poor pitching in the later half of the game. But I have faith. McFarland right now, 4 pitches in. Rodriguez is only a 232 average. But that all being said, right off the face mask. And I can tell you, again, that face mask has a lot of padding, but you get hit in the face, it's going to ring. And there he digs it out of the ground right to shortstop, and that is an easy catch, 1 away. And Nick Ahmed right there for the catch. Great play by him for the out. So we are waiting. So we are going to go right back to the top of the lineup. Now he is 0 for 2. Corey Dickerson's 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Again, 312 average, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs. So he does have -1 point for myself, which would be great if he can get a positive score, and we can get Eduardo Escobar to give us 2 bingos, which would, I think, solidify our lead, which would be huge. So as much as I believe that McFarland can recover, and we have 5.5 points in the center. So if Dickerson could just homer, get a single shot home run, get some points, that's going to take a bit of the hit on the pitching, but there's only 1 away, so we could still get 2 outs, 2 strikeouts from our pitcher, and then wait for Eduardo to come through the lineup and destroy it, maybe get a grand slam, something unbelievable, just get some points, and that would give us 2 bingos, 1 diagonal and 1 vertical, so that would be huge for us. Curveball, 1-1. But let's see who else has Dickerson. Yote Bob does not have Dickerson, so that's awesome for me. Let's see, number 5, San Yu. San Yu does not have Dickerson either, which is surprising because Dickerson is obviously one of the better players on their team. So Dickerson is on set, and there it goes. That is popped up right into the gap, and that is a base hit. So Dickerson gets on base from an error. He popped it up right into a weird gap between the shortstop and the pitcher, and McFarland went for it, dove for it, but could not get there in time. And you can see there, it's popped up, and Dickerson goes for it, and trips actually, doesn't dive for it, but trips. And that throws off Nick Ahmed, and the ball falls into the gap, which is good for an error. So we needed something from Dickerson, and we got it. So he is at 0 points right now. So if he does score, though, he will get us more points. So it would be great if, maybe Philadelphia does score, but we do have Hoskins up, who Hoskins is not on my board, so he actually can't do anything except get me, except bringing Dickerson home. So that's the only thing he can do for me. But let's just see what can happen here. Who else does it? Dana, again, still in 4th. Does not have Hoskins on their board, sorry. Jay Style. Jay Style is waiting for a lot to happen right now. So so that's tough because like we mentioned before, for me, I need Dickerson to come in and score, and then if I have Escobar, I would have 2 bingos. But that being said, now it would be the exact same thing for Jay Style, who is in 3rd place with a score of 52 even. if Dickerson scores and they get Escobar to score, they too would have the exact same vertical and diagonal bingo as myself. So that is something to be aware of. They also have Hoskins on their board. Hoskins right now is up in the count 3-0 with one runner on base, one away, and has the ability to bring in more points for them too, with Realmoto coming up in 2 batters. So they could have double bingos just based off of that alone. And there's a fastball, 90 miles an hour, low and outside, but strike one. So let's just see Jay Style, kind of how this plays out for him as the inning goes on, because obviously this is going to have a huge impact on us for pitching, but also a huge impact on the game. And there's a line drive to third. The toss to second is in time, out. And they got him at first in time. So that is a double play for the Diamondbacks. And that is a great inning. 3 up, 3 down. And that is exactly what McFarland needed just to get out of the inning. So good on him. But let's check the boards. Let's check the score. Kind of see what's happening and how the game is changing and shaping up after that inning. Bop-a-da-bop. I'm still in first place with a 57.75, and I'm going to need Jacob in here for a second because the screen is not working very well. But we can just talk about what's happening on the board because you can still see what's going on. So that's going to be good enough at this point. Yoke Bob is still in second with 55.15 points, and as you can see, they are waiting on a few. I just lost everything. And there it goes. And they are waiting on where we are. Okay, so they are second place. They have 2 bingo counts. They have the opportunity to get a bingo with Realmoto, which he will come on in the next inning, and then Kmart. Oh yeah, Ketel Marte. I think everybody's kind of relying on him as the main point scorer, and obviously I've got Ketel Marte in the exact same position. So once he comes through the lineup, it'll be great to see him actually perform. Now Yoke Bob will get a bingo, but I believe I will get a bingo as well. I'll have to double check my board, but he will get that horizontal bingo on that bottom 3 lines. So that'll be interesting to see. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's see. This. All right, so that's good. We are good. Yes, we are good. Okay. That's good. We are good. Baseball. Yeah. Okay. So, we are now in the top of the 6th inning. And, I was going to say I am currently ranked second, but that is still Yoke Bob. Again, we are waiting on Martel. And that would give me a bingo, actually, too. So, even if Yoke Bob gets that bingo on that horizontal, I will get and Flores goes deep. But Dickerson is there in time at the warning track. So that's a fly out. So unfortunately, I won't get points on Flores. So I'm going to have to wait for that horizontal bingo to set up. But Flores just went. So we have Nick Ahmed coming up. And Philadelphia has also changed pitchers. So Nick Ahmed is 1 for 2, has a single in the 4th, 1 run scored, 267 RBI, 11 home runs, 55 RBIs on the year, 758 on base percentage. And Ahmed is in a good spot for me to actually do something special. He could set up something. He could set up a horizontal bingo for me, but he can also set up the vertical. Again, we did miss Will Flores again with the fly out in the previous at bat, but I can hope that Nick Ahmed, he can at least set up a horizontal, and that is a start for something. So again, Ahmed 1 for 2 on the year, but let's see who else is out there. Yopbob again does not have Ahmed on. Oh, he does have Ahmed on his board, so he's in the bottom left. Again, just going to build more points for him. So Escobar and Marte, but we as well need Marte to come through and really do something again offensively. Maybe a home run. Maybe Ahmed gets on base and then drives it home, but it will be a while before we see Marte again because we still have 1, 2. Marte is the third batter in line, so he is in the hole currently. So that we might not actually see Marte depending on how this inning goes because there is one away as already. And there is a short 3-hopper all the way to the second baseman. Easy pass to Hoskins, and that is 2 away. So Ahmed grounds out, and we will have Carson Kelly up. Carson Kelly is 1 for 1 with a single run RBI, averaging 266 on the year, 14 home runs, 38 RBIs, and an 883 on base percentage. And let's see, because I do not have Kelly on my board, so let's find somebody who does. Bob, do you have Kelly? No, you do not. So we will move on. Let's look further down on the board, actually. Let's just see what 29th. Gang style. Again, you're missing so many players. It's ridiculous. That's why you're there. Let's go to 20th place. Jake. Very simple. Jake. Oh, wait. We could add Jake Peralta. That would be hilarious. We should just... Yeah. Okay, you probably didn't get that. Anyways, they do not have Kelly either. And I believe we had this problem earlier where we were missing... It was hard to find somebody with Kelly in their board, but I think it was Suiga had Kelly. No, they had Kingery. That's right. We are still having a hard time finding Kelly. I don't remember if we found somebody who had them earlier or not. I don't think so. Kelly is missing. But Kelly is also 1 and 2, down in the count, 2 away, no one on base. So this could be a very, very short inning for everybody. Dana does not have Kelly as well. TG Kim does not have Kelly, but has a lot of potential bingos lined up, at least 2, the horizontal and the vertical, based on what Bryce Harper is going to do next. But it might be a while before we see Harper on board, so we'll have to see. But they do have points from Marte, which I, at this point, am jealous of, because if I had those points, I would have another bingo. Note does not have Kelly, so I don't know if anybody actually does have Kelly on this game, actually. I don't see it. And there's a short 1-hopper to the third baseman, Kingery. Kingery passes it to Hoskins, and that is easily in time. And that is 3 up, 3 down, and the Phillies get out of the inning very, very fast. So let's go back to the board and kind of see how that all played out, because that was a fast inning. If you blinked, you would have missed it. But I am currently still in first place, so I'm happy with that, obviously. But Bob and Jay Style are battling it out in a very tight second, third place battle, with Bob having 55.15 points, Jay Style is 55 flat, and then Dana is in fourth with 53.5 points. So if we take a look at some of the boards and who we have going on, we did take a look. I believe, who do we have up next? Carson Kelly was just up, but I believe Bryce Harper will be coming up. So I remember seeing a lot of boards with Bryce Harper, and again, I did not choose Bryce Harper for the simple fact of I did not think his batting average was at a place where I thought it was going to be beneficial for myself. Now you can see here, Inote 0126 does have Bryce Harper, but as I mentioned before, why I didn't choose him because of his batting average is -1 point. So even if Harper gets on base through a walk or even a base run, I believe his point score will be negligible, which will be about 1 point, I believe, maybe 1.5. But we will have to see how that plays out for some of these other players. I don't think Jay Style, no, they do not have Bryce Harper. Let's see here. San Yu, do you have Bryce Harper? Yes, again, -1. Okay. All right, so Bryce Harper, let's see, somebody, Siwuga does have Harper, again, -1 point. So doesn't really do much for them, and I don't think it'll be a very easy road. So I think the people who have Bryce Harper, kind of regardless of what happens at this at-bat, is going to be very tough to see actual progression and changing in the board, at least significant changing, because he does have -1. So it really depends on what kind of reaction he has. If he does go deep, that might change things up significantly. But again, Jake does have Harper, but -1, so it's a tough go at this point. So again, Harper is 0 for 2, and he does get a piece of it in the gap and dribbles all the way to center field. So Bryce Harper actually does get on base. So it'll be interesting to see now some of the players and how their boards respond based off of that base hit. And you can see right there, perfect placement right in the gap between the pitcher and the second baseman to just dribble into center field, shallow center field. And the Diamondbacks have come together, and it looks like McFarland is getting pulled already in the top of the 7th, which would be very surprising, and it does look like we are having a pitching changeup already. So that is going to change things up significantly, because we are, as well as a lot of people, relying significantly on the Arizona pitching. Now again, I am still in first place, but I have lost a point. I am now at 56.75 points because of that single right there from who, I don't even remember who just hit the ball. Oh, Bryce Harper. That's right, Bryce Harper. Okay, so we can actually take a look and see, because I don't remember. Inoue had Bryce Harper, yes. And so you can see Bryce Harper went from -1 to negative. So that base hit is good for 1 point. But not a lot has really changed on the board. So we can't really see much happening, unless you did have the Arizona pitching, which in that case you would have lost that point. But it looks like Yoshihisa Hirano is going to be pitching now. Does have a 4.29 ERA, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how he comes into the game this late and what he's able to bring to the Arizona Diamondbacks this late when they do have the lead. So hopefully he does keep going, but I do think that Zach Gallen will get the win in this one. And I think one of the reasons is they wanted to save McFarland and not have to let him sit out so many games, because I believe he was only at maybe 30 pitches, 40 pitches. He was not very high in the pitching, in terms of his pitching numbers. So, but we will see again how that kind of that responds, because that was, I mean, I understand that he just gave up the base hit, but there we go. Yoshihisa Hirano in 51 games is 4-5, 4.29 ERA in 40 innings. And we will see his first pitch. Boom! 92-mile-an-hour fastball, high, strike 1. And so Real Moto is up, and it'll be interesting to see, because he is not on my board, but I know he's on a lot of these people's board. So here we go. Yo Bob is in second place right now with 54.15 points to my 56.75 points, and he has a chance to overtake me if Real Moto does get on base. That will at least give him a horizontal bingo, and I will drop at least to second place in Ranking Ball. So this is going to be the tight game right now. So I am heavily relying on Hirano to actually pull this one out. But that being said, if you look at Yo Bob's score, his pitching only has -1, or only has +1. So I believe if Real Moto gets on base at all, that 1 will go to a 0. So I don't know if he'll actually get the bingo right away. Real Moto will have to pitch at least 1 strikeout to get some more points. And then he would get the bingo. So he might not actually get the bingo right away, even if Real Moto gets on base. So we will have to see how that plays out. But right now he is up in the count against Real Moto, so it might not actually matter. The count is 0-2. The pitch, high fastball, and that goes deep to right center field. But Adam Jones is there at the warning track to bring that one in, and that is an easy out, one away. And that keeps Harper on first. So, Real Moto was not a threat, but that bingo for Yoke Bob, that horizontal bingo is still very much a real threat for me and my point scoring. But we will check out what happens there. Now, I am still in first place, but again, Yoke Bob, 54.15 points, very close, very hot on my tail. And Segura is back up. And do I have Segura on my board? I do have Segura on my board. So again, I need Cesar Hernandez. Ooh, and Segura goes for that, tries to dig it out, brings him to a knee. Look at this pitch, curveball, and Segura saw it and tried to equal the curve. And it looks like he's going to bring that four-seam fastball, as you can see with that grip that he had on the ball. Curveball, 84 miles an hour. 0-2. And it looks like Hirano has Segura's number and knows what he's looking for. Segura, again, is 1-1, but if we can get Hirano to get a strikeout here, I will take that right now. Get some more points for that pitching. But we can see who else has Segura. Does Yoke Bob have Segura? He does as well. So he, again, as well, will be getting points if Segura gets on base. Hirano trying to go for that curveball again, but just loses control just a little bit and drops it into the dirt. J Style again has Segura, but won't make that much of a difference. We're looking for somebody who can actually get a bingo. What about Dana? Dana actually doesn't have any points going on really at all, so that doesn't actually make a difference. Sanyu, who has been a threat, is not going to be a threat with Segura on this one. It looks like a lot of people are just trying to build up to get bingos. It's the same thing for Inote. Ooh, and Segura digs the one out, but that's a two-hopper, and that is the out at second, and not in time, and Segura is safe at first, but there's two away. So that is going to change things up a little bit, so we will have to see how the ranking plays out after that one. That was exciting. So Cesar Hernandez is up. He is 0 for 2. Does have a strikeout, but again, 281 on the year, 8 home runs, 49 RBIs, 730 on base percentage, and he is -1 for me. So if he could do something big here, at least I would get a bingo with Segura, the pitching, and Hernandez. And the bunt, but pulls back, but again, still in the strike zone, 90 miles an hour. That is strike one for Hernandez. But again, if Hernandez just gets on base, that is going to go from -1 to 0, so that won't do anything for me. So I need Hernandez to at least get a double. If he can get a double, and they at least, if the Phillies can get runners in scoring position at second and third, that would be all that I need to get a bingo. Now that would take a hit at my pitching, but that being said, that hit would be minimal compared to the points that I could get from the horizontal bingo, which I believe is worth 1.2 times. And again, I do have 4 bingos, and to get to win this game, you need bingos. That is not negotiable. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, high and outside, strike 2, as Hernandez swings for it and misses. Hirano, 11 pitches in, showing his versatility and the differences of the pitches that he can make. But let's see who else has Hernandez. Yo, Bob, do you have Hernandez? No, you do not. Fastball, inside, 91 miles an hour, 2-2. J Style does not have Hernandez as well. So the top 5 do not have Hernandez and do not really look like a threat, even if he does score. So from the top 5, I am not too worried, but let's look at number 10. Ooh, and Hernandez gets a one-hopper all the way to the second baseman, tosses it to the shortstop, and they get the out at second, and that ends the inning, and Hirano gets out of his first inning clean. So Hernandez, again, does nothing. And so this will be very interesting to see kind of how the rankings play out now. based off of that last inning, and it looks like I've gone up to 59.75 points. Again, still 2 points up on Yoke Bob with 57.15, and we will have to see after Cesar Hernandez is up, who is going to be up next for... I lost track of which team was playing. Arizona, forgive me, Arizona Diamondbacks. So we will have to see who is up next for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, I'm not sure who is still pitching. Okay, so Morin is still pitching for Philadelphia, and it looks like Hirano will actually get his first at-bats. So as soon as Hirano goes through, unless they pinch hit for him, we will have Marte up. And again, Marte is the one who is holding all the cards for us right now for that horizontal or diagonal bingo, which will be huge with Arizona's pitching at 9.5 points right now. So we can gain a very, very comfortable lead, or at least grow our lead if we get that diagonal bingo. But we will see who else, because I know Yoke Bob will have a bingo as well. But again, that horizontal bingo is not worth as much as the diagonal. So you want to get the diagonal and clear out that board. And again, with 1, 2.5, even if Marte gets huge points regardless, I'll get those same points. But my Arizona pitching is at 9.5 compared to the 2.5 and the 1 that Nick Ahmed has and Segura has. So if Yoke Bob gets the bingo, he will still maintain a very comfortable second place, I believe. But I can't see him actually making a significant gain in the overall standings. At least I don't see him gaining on me based off of the points that I have accrued in comparison to his. But we can see, because Marte is going to be a very popular player, so again, J Style can get Marte. So you got to be careful, because if Christian Walker gets some sort of points, that is going to be huge for J Style to really bring up their score in that diagonal bingo as well, because they have 11 points for the Arizona pitching and 3.5 already for Marte. So that is going to be a very interesting, it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out later in the game. But the best thing to happen right now is for Marte to get a huge, like a home run. Maybe Hirano gets on base, surprisingly, and that would be great for everybody. And it looks like they are pinch hitting Jake Lamb for Hirano. Curveball, strike one. And Nicasio is now pitching for Philadelphia. And Nicasio, so Jake Lamb, 227 on the year, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs. But Nicasio has a 5.4 ERA. So we can see now, Lamb won't really be on a lot of people's boards, I don't think. But we need to check out at least who's going to be, who else has got Marte that's going to score points. So again, Marte is a very, very popular player, and coming in, his batting average was well over 300. I believe it was 318. So it's very easy to see why he's on a lot of people's boards and in a lot of good places. So we're going to have to just wait and see kind of how he plays out. And there's a pop up right on the first baseline, and that is a very easy catch for Cesar Hernandez. And that's one away. So this is now what we have all been waiting for. What we have all been anticipating is Ketel Marte up again. And this is going to be tight. This is going to, there is potential for a lot of people to make a lot of moves on this at bat. So this could go one of two ways. This can go very well, or this can go very poorly for everybody. And it looks like they've called time, and the manager's coming out again. The umpire is in there too, so you have to wonder what they're talking about. I would assume that they're talking about the importance of Marte getting some sort of points for Ranking Ball to make a difference in a lot of people's lives right now, because a lot of us here are trying to win Ranking Ball Gold. That is the point of this, and we can all do very big things if Marte gets something. So I think they're just telling him, hey, there's a lot at stake here for a lot of people. Just let him get a hit. That's all we need, is we just need a base hit from Marte. And again, 0 for 1 on the day, but 300 average. So there's a lot of potential for a lot of big plays right now. The pitch. Curveball, low, strike 1. Marte again, 0 for 1, but does have a walk, and 1 run scored from that walk. The 0-1 pitch, gets a piece of it. That is a curveball, but fouls away. So let's take a look. Yote Bob, who is in second place, can get a bingo on that bottom horizontal. So that would be huge for him because he is 2 points back. Now if we go to third place, Jay Style will build more points for this diagonal and vertical bingos that he could potentially get, as long as Christian Walker gets on base. So I actually don't want Christian Walker to do anything for him because Christian Walker's not on my board either. So that would be interesting to see. High fastball. 1 and 2. So we are going to really need Marte to come through right now. He is down on the count, but the 1 and 2 pitch, and it is in the dirt well before the plate. And Nicasio is obviously does not have control of his breaking ball. So 1 and 1, the count is 2 and 2, no one on base. The score is 4-0 for Arizona over the Philadelphia Phillies. And Ketel Marte can score a lot of people, a lot of points if he just gets on base. The 2-2 pitch. Marte gets a piece of it, and that is good for a single as the ball again dribbles into right field. And so Marte is on base. So if we watch the board, boom, there is the points right there. And that is good for the bingo. So that skyrockets me up from 59 points to 66.75 after I get that diagonal bingo. And that is huge for me. So my bingo count is now back up to 5. And I had that diagonal bingo from Peralta, from the Arizona pitcher to Marte, which is again worth 1.5, which skyrockets my score to 66.75. I maintain my first place lead, which I am now comfortably up 6 points over Yote Bob, who has 59.05 points. And we have David Peralta up, who again is on my board. And we, again, need to start building points. So now you can see Yote Bob got that horizontal bingo and clears it out. But the one person that I am legitimately worried about at this point is Jay Style. Because Jay Style now has, as long as Christian Walker does not do anything else in this game, we do not have to worry about Jay Style. But if Real Moto scores, that would actually be the ideal. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't, because then they would have another. So regardless, at this point, Jay Style is actually eligible for double bingos for most of his scoring. So if you can see here, with Christian Walker scoring, they get vertical with Peralta, Segura, and Walker, and then they'll also get the diagonal with Marte, the Arizona pitching, and then Walker. So if they get that, they will jump a lot of points, because you can see they have a lot of points still left on their board. Now again, once Philly gets back onto the lead, it'll be interesting to see if Real Moto comes through as well. And that one was tight and inside for Peralta. David Peralta, you are an amazing human / batter, if you got that reference. I hope you get something here. Just give me something. But we can actually see who else. Sanyu, Peralta. So again, Christian Walker can give them, Sanyu as well, a bingo. So we are now worried about Christian Walker and how he's going to be able to perform later in the inning. And Walker is going to be up after Escobar. So with one away, we might actually see Christian Walker up. So we can actually see, hopefully by the end of this inning, kind of how this plays out. Now it would be great to get something out of Peralta. Peralta is 1 for 1 on the day. The count is 2 and 2, 1 away, 1 on base, and they check the runner at first. So we can actually scroll down and see who is in 20th. And there's not a lot going on. As you can see, that choosing Philadelphia, when you choose the wrong pitcher, that's when your point score is going to go. And you can see right there the difference between 13th, who has Arizona as a pitcher, all the way to 14th is a significant, when you choose Philadelphia, that is the gap between choosing Philadelphia. And there's the stolen base, and they missed it. And Marte gets all the way to third. And that is a huge error from Philadelphia. And Marte slides into second, but the catch was not made and was able to get up and make it to third. Phenomenal awareness by Marte. And now Arizona, up 4-0, does have another runner in scoring position. As you can see right there, he was worried about the tag and it goes right off the tip of his glove. And that allows Marte time to get to third, where he thought about going home. For a second, he thought about it. So Marte could score us points, Peralta could score us points, and that would get us another potential bingo for that diagonal as long as Arizona's pitching gets 1 point. And there, Peralta pops it up into shallow center field, but Housley is there in time, and that holds Marte at third. So there's now 2 away. So we're still here in the bottom of the 7th. Peralta fouled out. So we will not be eligible for that horizontal bingo or that diagonal bingo at this point, even if Marte does score. But Eduardo Escobar is up now. He is 0-2 for the day. And we can see here he would be in a good position for Yoke Bob as well in his diagonal. So me and Yoke Bob have very similar boards, and that's why we are doing very successful. Who else does have him? So Escobar, actually, so this is going to be interesting because right now Jay Style has the potential to get a diagonal bingo here with Escobar, Arizona's pitching, and David Peralta, who does have 1.5 points for him. But Christian Walker is up. So, wow. So I just missed that, but now Escobar does have points. So Jay Style should get something out of that. So it'll be interesting to see quickly how that changes. And look at that, Jay Style has jumped up to second place with that horizontal bingo. But now Christian Walker is going to be the one to determine a lot of what happens over this next inning, because my lead now has gone from 69 to 68, but I am only 2 points up on Jay Style. And again, I have there is a real threat here for him to get a bingo with a diagonal, as long as Arizona's pitcher comes up and throws something good in that next inning. So that is something that we have to be aware of. And Escobar advances bases. And so now Arizona has runners on second and third, both in scoring position. And who is up right now? Christian Walker. Christian Walker does nothing for me. And I am genuinely worried about what he can do and the damage that he can do right now. But Christian Walker can do something for Yo Bob. But as you can see, second place, Jay Style. Jay Style is on the hunt with Christian Walker. So we need Christian Walker actually to strike out here. That would be phenomenal for the overall board. And it looks like they might actually walk him because he is up in the count 3-0. But there is 2 away. So Christian Walker can be a real hero here for Arizona, but be a real thorn in my side for ranking ball. But definitely help a lot of people out. As you can see on a lot of boards, they do have there's a lot of points still out there. And a lot of points can be brought home with Christian Walker. There's another. San Yu can get a horizontal bingo. And there's an intentional walk. So Christian Walker does get on base. So that will give him 1 point. And the bases are loaded now. And Jones is going to be up. Adam Jones is going to be up. And I remember it was hard to find any sort of any players with Adam Jones on their board. So let's double check the board and kind of see the rankings and see how they're playing out now after they've intentionally walked I forgot who they walked now. Christian Walker. Christian Walker, yes. So, as you can see, Christian Walker gets 1.5 points. So, Jay Style, who is now very, very much on my tail. Looks like he is going to take the lead as I have 68.25 points. And not many bingos lined up except for the vertical with Peralta. We'll have to wait for the entire lineup to go through. But Adam Jones is 0 for 3 on the night, so I don't see him being that much of a threat. But Arizona can definitely score points now and bring runners home in this position. So a base hit would at least get 1 run in. But if we look at Jay Style, as long as Arizona's pitching gets 1 point, he will get a fairly significant diagonal bingo with Marte, Arizona's pitching, and Christian Walker, which is not what we wanted. But that is looking like he could actually overtake me in the next inning because of that. So there's 2 away. Arizona has the bases loaded. The count is 1-0. The pitch. And Adam Jones swings hard on that fastball and misses. This could be a huge turning point. Now, obviously, Arizona is up 4-0, but this could really be the nail in the coffin for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, remember, Arizona is 2.5 games back of the wild card, and they really need wins right now. So this is showing their grit and determination late in games to be able to actually put together these scoring runs. And hopefully, Arizona's pitching is able to close out the game. The 1-1 pitch, and Jones gets a piece of it, but it pops up high. Foul. The count is 1-2. So Nicasio and all those people who do have Philadelphia as a pitcher right now could really get some points here that would be beneficial. As we just take a look at this, Philadelphia's pitching is still at -8 overall, but this strikeout with the bases loaded 2 away to end the inning would give them, I believe, 5 points. So that -8 would go to -3, which doesn't sound like much, but it makes a huge difference on your board. As we see WJDTJSDN. And that is a fastball, low and outside, 2-2. But again, Jones is 0-3 for the night. So Nicasio needs to get out of this inning. I know he is sweating it out right now. I can't imagine being in this position, coming into the game, being down 4-0 and having the bases loaded, but 2 away. You're only 1 strike away. So here we go. Let's see this points. The 2-2 pitch, looks up, gets a piece of it. That is a 95-mile-an-hour fastball high, but that is fouled away. So the count remains 2-2. And there's a fan who caught that one. Happy about that, I bet. Look at that. For it to pop up all the way. I believe he is in the upper deck right behind home plate. So that is a very, very high foul ball. Adam Jones, 2-2, 2 away, bases loaded. Arizona's up 4-0 over the Philadelphia Phillies. But 0-3 on the night. Can he change his luck? Make something happen? The 2-2 pitch. High fastball, strike 3, and that ends the inning. And Adam Jones is furious that he left the bases loaded, but the Arizona Diamondbacks are still up 2-0 or 4-0. And that is a phenomenal end of the 7th inning. So we have 2 more innings to go. But that is going to be it for Ranking Ball and our live feed. But let's just one more time just check the boards and just get a feel for where we're at before we end the inning. And I believe if we look at this, I am still just in first place. But again, Jay Style, as long as Arizona gets 1 point for pitching, they will get a bingo, so that will probably overtake me. Not probably, but that will overtake me. Maybe not by a significant margin, but at least 2 or 3 points. So that's something to be aware of as we go forward. But I feel like I'm in a pretty good position right now. Again, we need to get more points offensively, and I was hoping for more production out of Dickerson and Hernandez, but that just didn't happen. But again, if you look at a lot of these players, they're missing so many players, and it's just that's the reason that you're not doing as well as you would have wanted to. That is a huge one if Bryce Harper gets points. There, like Ari Pepe is ranked 10th right now with a score of 46.9. Only has 2 bingos, but if they get Bryce Harper in that vertical, which I believe is 1.2 or 1.3, That's going to be a lot of points because as you can see, the Arizona pitching has 20 points, so that would be huge for them. So there's a lot to watch, and it's a lot of excitement going on Ranking Ball right now. So make sure to come back. Tomorrow we'll be on the same time, ready to go, and we will be here. We hope you're here. Remember to check all your scores on the mobile app or at rankingball.com, and to come back tomorrow, and we will see you. Thanks for joining us, and we are out.